People often say, Hamas is Israel's creation, which
Yeah.
I don't think is accurate. Hamas is very much indigenous to the Palestinian people and comes out of a long history of sort of this Islamist ideology within Palestine. But the Israeli occupation forces certainly allowed them to exist and often encouraged them to exist in a way that threatened the secular forces and that threatened the nationalist forces.
I mean, it's definitely, should we say, something of a meme on social media of, Hamas is a creation of Israel, or Hamas was materially supported by Israel. Is it simply a case that Hamas was in some ways beneficial to Israeli interests because it means that you're inhibiting the possibility of a politically unified single Palestinian state, or were there forms of material support?
Well, I mean, Hamas was certainly beneficial to the Israeli regime in different ways across its life cycle. So, in those early years that we're talking about, it was beneficial to the Israeli regime because of divide and rule tactics. So, it allowed, as you say, it prevented rather the formulation of this cohesive political body that can speak on behalf of all Palestinians. And Hamas viewed itself as outside of the PLO, specifically, this is the late 1980s, for the reason that the PLO recognized Israel. And Hamas was opposed to the recognition of Israel, continues to be opposed to the recognition of Israel. So there was a major split within the Palestinian liberation struggle that certainly Israel benefited from. But if you fast forward a couple of decades and we have Hamas as a governing authority in the Gaza Strip, it's beneficial to Israel for another reason, which is that now Israel can claim that, look, there's a security situation in the Gaza Strip. That's why we must put the Gaza Strip under blockade. The reality is that the blockade preceded Hamas. In many ways, the Gaza Strip has been a thorn in Israel's side since 1948. And the reason is demographic. They want to get rid of the 2 million Palestinians there in order to ensure a Jewish majority between the river and the sea. And so Hamas then became the perfect fig leaf. And that's what I argue in the book, that it becomes the perfect fig leaf that retroactively justifies the blockade. And so while Israel is demonizing Hamas, this bloodthirsty terrorist organization that's irrational, it's doing everything in its power to make sure that Hamas is stabilized as a governing authority in the Gaza Strip, including, as you say, material support. And that's money that's coming from Qatar, being funneled in with full Israeli coordination into Hamas, into Hamas as the government of the Gaza Strip, to make sure it doesn't collapse.